let's talk about the coach's challenge and a couple other things that had to do with Dominic Ducharme.
You mean Marc Bergevin's walkie-talkie?
Right. So here's what happened if you missed it. There was a goal that was clearly a goal. Rasmus Sandin from the point, a slap shot, which we haven't seen from an NHL defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs in years. Nice to see a slap shot. I think Brian McCabe last one.
One-timer from the point. Since when?
It was awesome. It was great. What a new weapon. How about this Sandin guy? But the interesting thing about it was you could see Marc Bergevin from the press box say Joe Thornton interfered. You could see him pointing and his hair going wild because he's got a lot of it now.
He does.
You could see him pointing at the screen going there, there, there. Now, when you look at the replay, when you first look at it again, you're instantly looking for it. Well, oh man, his stick, where did his stick interfere? What's Bergevin talking about? And you can, if you only focus on Joe Thornton, see the stick does sort of tap Carey Price. However, by the time the stick taps Carey Price, the puck's already in the net. And so this is where if I'm Dominic Ducharme, I'm pissed off. Because if my boss calls me and makes me make a call like that, I'm already down. Was it 2-0 or 3-1? Sorry, 2-1 or 3-1 at that?
It was 2-1.
2-1.
That goal made it 3-1.
Yes.
That goal made it 3-1. I'm already down 3-1, and you want me to risk it on an iffy call
after they just scored on us on the power play.
Right. And remember that it's not called the GM's challenge. It's called the coach's challenge. So if you're going to push the coach to do this, then it falls to the coach. A lot of people are like, well, that's Bergevin's call. It's Bergevin's call. No, it's Dom Ducharme's call. If Dominic Ducharme says, no, I'm not challenging that, what's Marc Bergevin going to do? Well, who's on the ice?
All right.
And here's the thing, though. So I saw some people say, well, hey, just because Bergevin was there and he was freaking out at the TV does not mean that he was telling Ducharme to do that. Well, what was the guy in the walkie-talkie doing? Ordering pizza?
All right. I didn't like that dynamic of, hey, your boss is calling you in the middle of your job on a walkie-talkie to tell you to do something. What is Ducharme supposed to do in that moment? His GM screwed him.
I don't think anything about this is typical, because the way I was talking about it during the stream is I was like, oh, he's probably walkie-talkieing like the guys in the back. But I'm like, wait a sec, we're in a pandemic. I don't know if there are guys in the back. Mm-hmm. Like if they have like some sort of Houston Astros war room back there. I think it and Burrows was on this all game. So do they have a direct line to the bench?
For sure. Of course
I guess so.
Yeah.
100%. We saw it. There's TV evidence of it.
Why wouldn't you?
And that shouldn't be the case in terms of making decisions on the ice as a coach. Like, imagine he told them like put a player on the ice. Like it's schemy. You know, you shouldn't be doing that.
What's the limit? That's a good point.
So here's, if I'm Dominic Ducharme, two things after the game. Number one, I have a ripping call with Marc Bergevin.
Oh yeah.
I tell him I'm never doing it again.
On the phone. You don't want to have that call in person. He's very large.
He is very large. Number two, it shows me that my own general manager doesn't have the faith in me to make the call myself, which freaks me out. Mm-hmm. The only reason Dominic Ducharme would have said yes to something like this is that he is an interim coach. I know he's the new coach, but let's be honest. Marc Bergevin's well within his rights after this season to go, yeah, see ya. We're getting Boudreau. We're getting Tortorella. We're getting whoever we want. It's the Montreal Canadiens. They'll do whatever they want to win.
Oh, give me Torts in Montreal.
It'd be great. So what I'm saying here is I would love Torts with the French media. That'd be amazing. What I'm saying is Marc Bergevin showed that he has no faith in his coach. And you know what? With the way Dominic Ducharme, and I'm going to shift this here, the way Dominic Ducharme has deployed his players and who he's dressed, I wouldn't have a whole lot of faith in him either. Now, Let's just talk about Cole Caufield for a second.
Yep.
Okay. Not dressed
playing
in the
tonight.
first two games. How many playing tonight? Wow, shocking. Cole Caufield, who had how many points in 10 games, guys?
5. 2 of those were in overtime, though, and there is no 3-on-3 in the playoffs.
All right.
So that does make it tough. And when you have such a small sample size...
You mean playing under pressure and scoring goals makes it tough to play under pressure to score goals in the playoffs?
Do you think Cole Caufield should have been in the first 2 games?
Kotkaniemi and Caufield and Romanoff. Are they out of their minds? These are the 3 best young players, and this is the opportunity. You don't need to win the cup this year. You just need to beat the fucking Leafs. All you got to do is beat the Leafs. Who's your core going forward? Caufield, Kotkaniemi, Suzuki, Romanov. These are your young guys. Yeah. Sorry?
Romanov.
These are your guys. This is the experience they need. What's Dom Ducharme doing?
When I was talking to Engels, he was basically saying, like, listen, they're all going to get in. But they're all going to get in. Now, wait though. It's game 1 and 2. That means something. And there's a lot of tie goes to the veteran shit going on there. The other thing, and this, I do like the logic here. Cole Caufield making his playoff debut at home, where you have an easier time controlling the matchup.
So he's more nervous at home, and there will be Montreal Canadiens fans in attendance today, by the way. That was just announced. Apparently there has. I thought it was supposed to be the 28th, but from what I just read on Twitter, there might be actually Canadiens fans there tonight.
Oh, wow.
Are you sure?
I'll check it again, but that's my understanding.
That's the first I had heard of that. Anyway, this is probably an unpopular opinion. I do think Cole Caufield is going to be great. That's not the unpopular part. He's clearly got excellent finishing power, but for the most part, watching him in the, 2 or 3 games that he played against the Leafs towards the end of the season, he wasn't otherworldly. And 3-on-3,
he's not better than than some of the guys that they played, though?
I will tell you that, yeah. I will tell you that.
You'll tell me he's not better than all the guys on the team, or like you're telling me he couldn't be better than somebody else on the team.
Who's coming out of the lineup? What's the swap?
Oh God, they're not Caufield guys.
This is the issue. Like, it's got to be like Lehkonen or something. Who's got? I want to say, like, is he a penalty killer on that team? Mm-hmm. They like Lehkonen, right? So Caufield is going from university hockey and pandemic university hockey. Like, part of me goes, how much does this matter? I wonder. So he's going from university hockey, then he's got to get used to the jump up to NHL hockey, and then he's got to get used to the jump up to NHL playoff hockey. That's a lot.
Okay, then fine. Explain Kotkaniemi.
That one is a little bit more difficult. I mean, he was looking pretty good in game 1 when Eric Stahl helped set up Josh Anderson for the first goal.
Who's he?
Josh Anderson? Oh, sorry, Eric Stahl. I thought I said Stahl.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Eric Stahl sets up the Josh Anderson goal. But I mean, I think the only reason Kotkaniemi was in game 2 was Jake Evans got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think the plan was always to have the young guys play game 3 in Montreal. I haven't heard that. I do think.
But what kind of plan is that?
They're not as well trusted defensively. And at home, you go, okay, they have better skill. And I think I'm a smart enough coach that I can protect these guys and I can put them in a position to succeed.
And you're telling me Romanov's not good enough to make the top 6? Romanov
is confusing.
And let's put this out there. You want to confuse this even further. And this is where, if I'm Dominic Ducharme, I would be worried, because I'm not really sure. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think the Montreal Canadiens need to get away from only hiring francophones. I think Dom Ducharme, this is the perfect example. Who has been the scariest player on the Montreal Canadiens forward group all series so far?
Game 1, Josh Anderson. Game 2, nobody.
Okay. So if you're going to cap it, Josh Anderson still was the best of the forwards, I would say, in game 2.
Man, I don't think anyone was good.
Okay. Well, was he not a part of the first goal in game 2?
I'm trying to remember who assisted on that goal. You might be right. That was maybe one of 2 or 3 bad shifts they had all game. The Habs really hemmed the Leafs in there.
The game 2 goal was Kotkaniemi from Armia and Toffoli.
Okay. So what I would say is the player who has looked most dangerous for the Canadiens so far, if nobody looks dangerous in game 2 and somebody looks dangerous in game 1, it's Josh Anderson. How much ice time does Josh Anderson average, guys?
Great question. Well, he starts on the 4th line. 17 and a half.
16:25.
Yeah, that's not enough. That's
Are you
not
kidding
enough.
me?
He was
And
the best player on the ice in game
average. That's the average. And I know that they took 4 penalties. But guys, if they've taken 4 penalties in a row, then Josh Anderson's out there double shifting.
I was about to say, it's
Like,
the playoffs. There's no limit.
What are you saving him for, Dom? The guy's unbelievable. He's a monster. This is why Bergevin signed him to a 7-year deal.
The home ice thing matters. I bet he lets him fly. But
the playoff thing matters, Steve.
Yes.
And I love you. And I know you know what I'm saying here. My frustration isn't with you. It's the idea, well, you know what? We're going to save him for game 3 and game 4. What kind of fucking system is that?
No, Adam, what it is me trying to give the Habs as much credit as possible. And this is the mode I try to get into for the streams.
Okay.
I go, okay. Like I try to look within myself and go, what am I not seeing beyond my blue glasses?
This is a really good hockey team. They are not being
Habs?
deployed properly. Yes.
Yeah.
It's look at the winger depth they have. It's unbelievable.
They also, this trying to beat the Leafs up and fighting fire with fire, I don't know if it's going to work just because this team's beat the hell up. Like a lot of these guys barely made it into game 1 of the playoffs. Gallagher and Price did not look good.
No.
In game 2. Shea Weber and Deneau, and these guys are hurt. These guys are beat up. The Leafs have their fair share as well. But
as one does going into the playoffs.
If you need to be at your toughest to beat the Leafs, I got bad news.
By the way, it's Eric Stahl is the one who's coming out of the lineup today because he is injured, and that's where Caufield is going to slot in. Tatar would usually be the one who comes out when Caufield comes in, but Tatar's staying in the lineup. So Eric Stahl's injured and out. That was confusing. So Tatar was coming out earlier, and then they announced it was Stahl instead. So does he get the Galchenyuk treatment with the Habs, where they're like, okay, you're out of the lineup, or you're on our second line? Who, Tatar? Yeah, or it's top line or second line. Yeah, it would be the second line winger there. You're either a top 6 player or you're not in the line. Or we're sitting you for this younger guy who does what you do.
Tatar is not a defensive guy.
No, but I thought he probably had one of... I mean, how many scoring chances did the Habs have? It wasn't very many, and he definitely had one.
Yep.